Maybe one day I'll figure out like consistent camera placement and lighting and things like that, but it is not this day. Hi, I'm Liv and welcome back to the Book Nook. So I'm going to do a bit of a haul today. I'm also going to speak at a mile an hour again. A mile an hour, more than 1 mile an hour. Really fast for no reason at all. I'm going to do a haul. I was going to do a haul of a load of books that I hauled and haven't hauled. I've said haul too many times. Word has lost all meaning. Basically, I bought a shitload of books over lockdown, over that period that I didn't film for a month or so. And I was going to go back over them, but they're all back on my shelves. I can't remember which ones I did when. It doesn't really matter, so I'm just going to haul the ones that I've got sat here that I've bought since. It does mean I'll end up doing wrap-ups for some books that I haven't hauled, but Jesus, it's not like you guys are actually keeping track, and like I say, it doesn't even really matter. So first up, one that I've hauled and mentioned is Boy Parts by Eliza Clark. I will talk about this more when I do a proper wrap-up, but basically this is a fucking brilliant book and you need to go and buy a copy, okay, bye. Then we have Pew by Catherine Lacey. This is another one that I have also read. It is a short little book about a person who is found sleeping in a church in a community, and it is about how that community deals with that person, and it is weird and creepy, and a lot of it has stayed with me, and it says a lot about humanity and things like that, and I very much recommend this, and the lighting is not great for a book that is very, very white. Then a very special book which has gotten very, very bashed now because firstly, the postman does not like our letterbox and it came through a bit bashed. Then I shoved it in my bag and I put things on top of it and it got bent the other way. Then I just dropped it just now and I lost my bookmark and it fell on a corner, so this is going to be a bashed book. And that is The Outsiders Anthology. This is published by Three of Cups Press, and this is edited by the wonderful Alice Slater, who you will have heard me mention many times, and someone who I'm very privileged to know. So this is an anthology of writing, of short stories, about what it means to be an outsider. I am about halfway through. I've been reading this one during book hibernation summer thingy, because even though it wasn't on my list, I figure outsiders, you sit outside in summer, shoehorned. And also just because it arrived and I wanted some short stories and I wanted to read it because I've been really excited about this one. Pre-ordered it a while back. It was due to come out over lockdown and obviously it got delayed because such is Corona. I'm absolutely loving the short stories I have read so far. I thoroughly recommend you go and pick up a copy, and this one will definitely be talked about properly, more in depth in a wrap-up, but go get a copy. Another one that I've picked up is Blonde Roots by Bernadine Evaristo. This is an older book, but reissued in a cover that kind of matches Girl, Woman, Other. Now, Girl, Woman, Other I read and I liked. I didn't love it as much as a lot of other people did, and I haven't actually talked about that because it's one I've not wrapped up because I've just not been doing that shit. But yeah, I liked it. Didn't love it. I think it may have been something to do, again, with the time that I was reading it. But this one in particular of Bernadine's back catalogue, backlist, that's the word that we use when we talk about books. Well done, used to be a bookseller. I know this shit. Is one that I've seen recommended by a lot of people as if you enjoyed Girl, Woman, Other and want to pick up another Bernadine Evaristo, that this one is a good one to go for. And it's a book that sort of deals with the slave trade if it had happened to white people. It reverses everything and is meant to be phenomenal, so I'm very excited about this one. And I really love these new covers that they've given to Bernadine Evaristo's backlist. I am not normally the whole rejacketing books. I'm going to do a video about that one day, because why not? It's a topic. Next up is one that I mentioned on my Women in Translation TBR. Women in Translation month is the month of August. This is one that I didn't have a physical copy of, but I decided I wanted a physical copy of, and that is The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa. Loving this cover. Love it. So as I mentioned in the Women in Translation TBR, this is a book about an island that has the memory police, and basically everybody forgets shit. And it's about an editor who then realises that's what's happening and wants to save memories. And yeah, very excited to dig in. Can't talk. Dig. Then this next one is from the Man Booker longlist. Now I am going to do a video on the Man Booker longlist, but because I'm late to the party, I'm going to leave it until nobody's thinking about it and nobody cares, because that's what I do. And that is Love and Other Thought Experiments by Sophie Ward. Now, Sophie Ward is someone who I've had the pleasure of meeting. She was a guest lecturer when I was at Goldsmiths, and she was really, really interesting. It was a wonderful lecture. I've still got the notes for it. I found all my notes from uni the other day, and I was flicking through them and actually found my notes from that lecture. So there we go. So it's about a couple, Rachel and Eliza, who are planning their future together, and one day one of them wakes up and has an insect in her eye, and things apparently go weird from there. And I like weird. I like lesbians. Yep, and very excited for this one. And another one that I like the cover. I'm interested, again, covers the stark difference between the hardback and the paperback cover. Maybe I'll do a whole video, whole thing on covers. I'm throwing my books around now. Who am I? Next up is a book that was sent to me by the wonders that are Pushkin Press, and that is Machine by Susan Steinberg. Now this is a book that I saw, I think it was John Self I saw tweeting about it, and I suddenly realised, why does that book ring a bell? Yes, I have had the American edition on my wish list for bloody yonks. Oh, hello! Can't easily pick him up today, and he just wants food anyway. So yes, this is one I've had on my wish list for ages and have so nearly bitten the bullet and ordered the US edition for crazy amounts of money. But I didn't. And then I saw, from John Self tweeting it, that Pushkin Press were publishing it. And they kindly sent me a copy. This is a book about a girl who drowns in a community and the fault lines that open up through that, and another girl investigating it. But what really drew me to this book is it's another experimental, wacky one in terms of the layout and the prose. I mean, I can do a little flick through. You can't see. Useless, still getting used to the ring light. Basically, it's an experimental setup, and that is right up my street, and I'm very, very excited for it. Just gonna keep wiggling. Next up, another one from the Man Book Along list, and that is Real Life by Brandon Taylor. This is one that I saw a lot of enthusiasm for when the long list was announced, a lot of enthusiasm and excitement in particular for this one. Again, another one, stark difference between the hardcover and the paperback, that's becoming a recurring theme, but this is a very interesting looking one. Now, one thing in the blurb that I read that kind of made me go, no, was the words, a campus novel, and that always sets me on edge because Donna Tartt. Anyway, but this is about a guy who is a microbiologist, also grieving the loss of his father, so that's going to be fun, and about his reckoning with his life, and the experiment comes to a head at the same time. Again, don't know much about it. Clearly I'm really bad at doing hauls. I'm really bad at explaining books without just reading the blurb, which is kind of rocking my whole foundation as an ex-bookseller, but never mind, existentialism is not for today. But what I find for me is that I like only knowing a little bit about a book. I only need like a little hook, and it draws me in, so that's just how shit comes out, so sorry about that. Next up, another book by another ex-lecturer of mine, and that's The Sound Mirror by Heidi James. Heidi James was my lecturer at Greenwich. Why did I forget my university? Well done. And this one published by Blue Moose Books. There's been a lot of talk about this one, so lots of reasons why I was curious, so picked up a copy. It's about a woman who is going to kill her mother, okay, and it goes back through time and sort of through her, what's the word I'm looking for? Ancestors, there we go. And it's meant to be really, really good. I did actually start reading the first couple of chapters and then other books came up, so I will pick this one up again soon. Then I got myself a paperback copy of the Penguin Book of the Prose Poem. Now this is one that I do actually have in hardback, so I'm being that bitch with books, but this one I want to have in my bag to be bashed around. My whole relationship with prose poetry, flash fiction, short, weirdy shit. Maybe that's a whole other video, but basically excited to dip in and out of this one. There's something about prose poetry, flash fiction for me that I'm kind of enjoying getting back into. Actually, on that note, another one that I've hauled, only a digital edition, which is why it tends to sometimes drop out of my head, is one that I saw recommended by Bookish Chat over on Instagram, who's a great book reviewer and such forth. She posted about a flash fiction anthology by the guys over at Reflex Fiction called A Girl's Guide to Fly Fishing, and I picked up a digital copy and again started reading some of these things. What I find with flash fiction, for me, again, whole other video, just talking myself around in circles, but the crux of my point that I'm trying to speak but can't because I'm shit, is that I find flash fiction at the moment in particular is a really good way of breaking the cycle of just endless scrolling through social media, which I'm really guilty of doing at the moment, and I need to stop. But instead of doing that, if I'm going to be on my phone, I can have the Kindle app on my phone, and I can read actual flash fiction. So that's what I've been doing. Ow! Dropped that on my knee. Last but absolutely not least, in this haul, Ali Smith's Summer. Yay! So this one finally arrived late, so I'm late to the party, which pains me when it's an Ali Smith party, because I thought it was probably going to be embargoed in bookshops. And then I found a bookshop online that said they had it, so I thought I'll order that and it'll be here on the day. Then I had to popped into a bookshop a couple of days before publication, and they had copies of it on the shelves. And I didn't buy one, because I knew I had mine on the way. But then, mine took days and days and days to arrive. Anyway, I've started reading that one. Love it. That'll be coming up in a wrap-up, you know it. Hey, if nothing else, doing this video has given me a couple of ideas for other videos to do. Silver linings! Stop singing! I really should learn to do the thumbnails before filming the actual video, because I've just put my books on the floor And now I have to gather them all up. Oh, text message. Those of you who joined in with Simon over at Savage Reads Summer Book Hibernation, how did you find it? I, myself, read pretty much fuck all. My mum was on holiday this week and we went out and did lots of things and I just didn't really have time for a lot of reading, so barely did anything. To be honest with you, the only book that I've really read any of that was on my TBR is Summer, and that came at the end, as we've established. I did start reading The Nickel Boys, but only read like the introduction chapter kind of thing. I will pick that up again, but other than that, nothing off my TBR. Oh well, the books are still there, they still exist, it doesn't matter when I read them, they're not going to die without me. So, hope this video wasn't a complete waste of our time, and I'll see you next time for another video that, and I will see you next time for shit knows what video. Right, bye!